Hello dear students, I hope you are safe, I hope you are good. We are doing chapter number 9, ray optics. Till now we have done 9 parts. Today it is going to be the 10th part, and today we are going to learn how to apply lens maker's formula. In the last video lecture we have proved the lens maker formula. Today we are going to understand how to apply the lens maker formula to various kind of lenses. Okay, so first of all let me write lens maker's formula. The lens maker formula is given as 1 upon f is equal to mu to 1 minus 1, 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2, where f is focal length, mu to 1 is the refractive index of material of lens with respect to its surrounding medium. Refractive index of the material of the lens with respect to its surrounding, 1 is 1. R1 is the radius of curvature, of first surface, and R2 is radius of curvature of second surface. Okay, so these are the variables we have used in the lens maker's formula. Today we are going to understand how to apply the lens maker formula to various kind of lenses. Okay, so let us try to apply. The very first lens we are going to take is equiconvex lens. The first lens is equiconvex lens. Equiconvex lens. What is an equiconvex lens? Equiconvex lens is a lens, biconvex lens basically. But what happened? It's both the surfaces have equal radii of curvature. Okay, it's both the surfaces will have equal radii of curvature. So basically for this surface is going to be our first surface, this surface is going to be our second surface, because ray of light is coming from this side I have assumed. So for this surface R1 is going to be this side, because this sphere is completed something like this, so its center will lie somewhere here. Okay, this is the center of the first surface, and for this surface the sphere will be completed like this, so center will be somewhere here, so R2 will lie this side. Since I am saying that lens is equiconvex, so basically magnitude of R1 and magnitude of R2, they are going to be equal R. But the thing is, R1 is considered as positive, whereas R2 will be considered as negative, because R2 is this side. R2 is this side and R1 is that side. Okay, so if we put these values over here, then we'll have 1 upon f is equal to mu to 1 minus 1, 1 upon r minus 1 upon r. So basically it will become plus. So minus become plus, 1 by r plus 1 by r, 2 by r. So 1 upon f is going to be mu to 1 minus 1 into 2 by r. Or we can write f is equal to what? R upon 2 mu to 1 minus 1. So this is the formula for focal length if the lens is equiconvex. We can use it directly. For an equiconvex lens, this formula can be used directly. If the lens is equiconvex, put directly the radius of curvature, directly refractive index of the material of the lens with respect to surrounding, and get the value of f. Moreover, if mu to 1 is greater than 1, it simply means that if mu to 1 is greater than 1, which implies that mu 2 upon mu 1 is greater than 1, which implies that mu 2 is greater than mu 1. Mu 2 is for lens, mu 1 is for surrounding medium. Okay, medium I am writing, just I am writing medium. You need to understand it is for surrounding medium. So basically, as far as mu2 1 is greater than 1, the f is comes out to be positive. The f comes out to be positive. Okay, so basically the nature of the lens will be converging. Nature of the lens will be converging. If the rays are coming from infinity, they'll converge at some point, and that point will be f, and in this direction its focal length will be, okay, focal length will be in this direction, and it will be considered as positive. But suppose if mu2 is less than 1, it is possible that it is less than 1, and if it is less than 1, then similarly we can say that mu2 is less than mu1. Mu2 is less than mu1. Okay, I have skipped this step. Okay, let me write the full steps. Mu2 upon mu1 is less than 1, which implies mu2 is less than mu1. Means the refractive index of the lens is less than the refractive index of the surrounding. Means the medium of the lens is rarer and the surrounding medium is denser. Medium of the lens is rarer and the surrounding medium is denser. In that case, focal length comes out to be negative. Just put it here. If mu2 is less than 1, so f comes out to be negative, and it simply means that the focus will not lie in that side of the lens, it will lie behind the lens. So something like this will happen. If a ray of light is going like this, so it will go this way. It will go this way. So somewhere here the light will be, and focus will be directed this side, and that's why it is going to be negative. So when it is going to be negative, when the refractive index of the material of the lens is less than its surrounding, less than its refractive index of the surrounding. So basically what happens in that case, lens will be rarer medium and surrounding will be denser medium. Okay, lens will be rarer medium and surrounding will be denser medium. In that very case, what happens? Focal length comes out to be negative. So basic nature of convex lens is converging. Basic nature of convex lens is converging. But if the lens is kept in such a medium that the refractive index of the medium is less than refractive index of the medium is greater than the refractive index of the material of the lens. Refractive index of the medium is greater than the refractive index of the material of the lens, then what happens? The ray will not converge, it will diverge. So basic nature of lens can also be changed by changing the medium around it. Okay, by changing the medium around it. So this is how the lens maker's formula is applied to a convex lens, or you can say equiconvex lens. This is going to be the formula, and this thing we need to understand. Okay, now let us move and let us try to apply lens maker's formula to equiconcave lens. First of all, just pause the screen and note it down. Okay, now we are moving to the lens maker's form. We are going to apply lens maker's formula to equiconcave lens. Second case is we have to apply equiconcave lens. Equiconcave means again both the radius of curvature, both the radii of curvature are equal. Okay, equiconcave lens will be something like this. Rays of light will strike on the lens from this side, from left to right, my left to my right. Okay, now this is going to be our first surface, this is going to be our second first surface. For the first surface, radius of curvature will be like this side. For second surface, radius of curvature will be this. Since it is equiconcave, so basically the magnitude of radius of curvature is going to be equal, but somehow we find R1 as negative R and R2 as positive R. Okay, positive R. Why is it so? Because of the sign convention. Okay, now if we apply it to lens maker's formula, it will be like 1 upon f is equal to mu21 minus 1 upon R1, so it will be minus 1 by R, minus 1 by R2, R2 is plus R, so it will become minus 1 by R. If you solve it, it will become minus 2 by R. If you reciprocal it, after reciprocal we get R upon 2 mu21 minus 1 with negative sign. So basically this negative sign suggests that the basic nature of concave lens is diverging. the basic nature of concave lens is diverging. Ray of light goes like this. If we extend the rays behind, it will cut somewhere here. So focal length is that side, and that's why it is negative. But again, there are two cases, as we have done in equiconvex lens. If mu21 is greater than 1, it implies that mu2 is greater than mu1. Means as far as the medium of the lens, the material of the lens is denser than its surrounding, then f comes out to be negative. Means lens is what? Diverging. But again, if mu21 is less than 1, which implies mu2 is less than mu1. I have done the calculation in the previous part, when I was applying for equiconvex lens. So I was skipped the calculation. Mu2 is less than mu1. In that case, f will be positive. Just see, if mu21 is less than 1, we'll have minus some. Since mu21 is less than 1, we'll have denominator negative. Negative sign is already there in the numerator. So negative will be cancelled out and the answer will be positive. So here the concave lens will behave as converging lens. Something like this will happen. For diverging, this is the ray diagram. For converging, this is the ray diagram. Ray of light will go like this. Focal length is positive. How is it so? Again, the same logic. If the material of the lens is less denser, or in other words, it is rarer than its surrounding, the basic nature of the lens changes. Okay, you need to understand this thing. If surrounding medium has greater refractive index and lens has less refractive index, then the basic nature of the lens changes. A convex lens always converges. We cannot say that. It depends upon the surrounding medium. A concave lens always diverges. We cannot say that. Again, it depends upon the surrounding. If surrounding has less refractive index, means material of lens is denser, then they show their basic nature. And we adopt this nature only all the time if nothing is given, because surrounding medium is considered to be air, and air has always a refractive index 1 which is less than the refractive index of the material of the lens. So most of the time, in maximum cases, in almost all the cases, lenses are in air. So they show their basic nature. Concave shows diverging, convex shows converging. But if the lenses are kept in a medium, such suppose a liquid is there which has greater refractive index than the material of the lens, it simply means that the liquid is denser than the material of the lens, and that's why the ray of light is instead of moving from rare medium to denser medium, it will move from denser medium to rarer medium. Okay, so that's why they show opposite bending as it was showing before, and because of that the basic nature changes. Okay, so in viva, practical viva, in examination, it has been asked that a convex lens can diverge. If yes, then explain. So you need to explain that if convex lens can diverge, but it can diverge if the convex lens is placed in such a medium that the refractive index of the medium is greater than the refractive index of the lens. You need to understand that. Okay, so this is the application of Lensmaker's formula to equiconcave lens. Okay, now let us try to apply this for plano-convex and plano-concave. Third case I am going to take is plano-convex. Plano-convex. Plano-convex lens. How the plano-convex lens is given? Something like this. Okay. Now for this plano-convex lens, as you can see, this surface is plane. So for this surface, this is going to be first surface. For this surface, R1 is going to be infinity. For R2, it is negative R. Because for R2, the radius of curvature will be this side. Okay. So basically, if we apply it to Lensmaker's formula, we are going to have 1 upon F is equal to mu21 minus 1 upon R1, which is infinity, minus 1 upon minus R. minus and minus will become plus, 1 upon infinity goes to 0. So we'll have 1 upon f is equal to mu 2 1 minus 1 upon r, or we can write f is equal to r upon mu 2 1 minus 1. Okay, this is the focal length of a plano-convex lens. Now I want you to understand that focal length of equiconvex lens was given as r upon 2 mu 2 1 minus 1. This is the focal length of equiconvex lens. Okay, and this is the focal length of plano-convex lens. You can see the relation. Here that 2 is there, here it is not. So its focal length is 10, its is going to be 20. It is just twice of that. The focal length of plano-convex lens is just twice of focal length of equiconvex lens. So basically what happens, if we take a equiconvex lens and if we split it into two parts, if we break it into two parts such that two plano-convex lenses are formed like this and like this. So if its focal length is f, its focal length is going to be 2f. Okay, their focal length is going to be 2f. Is it clear? Just you can see focal length of this one 1 upon 2 of whole this. So if the lens is broken into two part such like that, so if its focal length is f, the new lenses, the new plano-convex lenses will have focal length 2f and 2f. Okay, now let us apply lens maker's formula to plano-concave lens. Fourth, I think, yes it is fourth, plano-concave lens. For plano-concave lens, how it will be like? So it will be like something like this. Okay, this is plane surface, so r1 is going to be infinity. R2 is going to be this time positive r, because R2 is going to be this side. So if you put the values in the lens maker's formula, so 1 upon r1 is infinity, so it will become 0. If it is positive r, so negative sign will remain over there, because it will be going to minus 1 by r. So 1 upon f is going to be mu 2 1 minus 1, 1 upon infinity minus 1 by r, 1 upon infinity goes to 0. So f is going to be r upon mu 2 1 minus 1 with negative sign. Same story here also. Okay, and the story which relates mu 2 1 and 1, that will remain same. It will be applicable in all the cases. If mu 2 1 is less than 1, if mu 2 1 is greater than 1, we have done it. That will be applicable in all the cases, right? So this is the focal length of concave lens. Again, the focal length of concave lens is just twice, plano-concave lens is just twice the focal length of equiconcave lens. Okay, in that formula 2 was there, here 2 is not there. So basically again it is twice. So again the same thing is applicable here also. If a concave lens is there, its focal length is 10 centimeter and it is equiconcave. So if it is broken, if it is splitted into two parts, two halves, so basically the concave lens what we got, plano-concave lens basically. So these are the plano-concave lens we got from here. So if it has focal length of 10, they will have 20 centimeter. Okay, they have 20 centimeter, right? So this is how we apply lens maker's formula to various lenses. Now let us solve some, one more. We have to understand the variation of focal length with respect to refractive index also, and then after we'll move to numericals. So let us move ahead. Now let us try to understand dependence of f on lambda. Focal length, dependence of focal length on wavelength of the light used. Since wavelength has nothing to do with the radius of curvature, these are the physical parameters. Wavelength of light, of what wavelength of light we are giving to the lens to formation of image. So basically this wavelength has something to do with refractive index. Refractive index is defined as speed of light in the vacuum to the speed of light in the medium. And refractive index of one medium with respect to second, or with respect to refractive index of second medium with respect to first, it is defined as mu2 upon mu1. If mu2 is kept as c upon v2 and this is kept as c upon v1, so c and c will be cancelled out, and mu21, which is mu2 upon mu1, can be given as v1 upon v2. Now all we know that when a ray of light or when a beam of light is moving from one medium to another medium, its frequency never changes. Frequency is something which is the property of source, and that's why while propagation, frequency never changes. Its speed changes, wavelength changes, but frequency remains constant. So basically this velocity can be written as frequency into wavelength, and here also frequency into wavelength. So frequency will be cancelled out, and the whole equation is written as mu2 upon mu1 is equal to v1 upon v2 is equal to lambda 1 upon lambda 2. Now if you can understand, and if you consider these two fractions or ratios, so here it is mu2 upon mu1, here it is lambda 1 upon lambda 2. Mu2 upon mu1, lambda 1 upon lambda 2. From here it is clear that refractive index is basically inversely proportional to the wavelength. So see, here it is 2 upon 1, here it is 1 upon 2. So refractive index is inversely proportional to the wavelength. So basically if I say that refractive index of red color and refractive index of violet color, if I want to calculate, if I want to compare them, not calculate, if I want to compare them, then all we know that wavelength of red color and wavelength of violet color, wavelength of red color is greater. So refractive index of red color will be less than the refractive index for the violet color. Okay, since refractive index is inversely proportional to lambda, from mathematical calculation we can see that. Here says c, mu2 upon mu1, here it is lambda 1 upon lambda 2. So okay, 2 upon 1, 1 upon 2. Ratio is inverted. So mu is inversely proportional to lambda. Lambda of red color is greater than lambda of violet color. So basically what will happen? Lambda mu of red color will be less than mu of violet color. Okay, so now refractive index of red color is less than refractive index of violet color. Okay, now I'm going to calculate focal length for red color and focal length of violet color. Let us see what happens. For red color, 1 upon fr is equal to mu for red color minus 1, 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2, and for violet color 1 upon f violet is equal to mu of violet minus 1, 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon both of them. Just compare and nothing, just compare. Since mu r, or just divide them, the comparison will be more easier. If we divide them, let's say this equation number 1, this equation number 2, if I divide them 1 upon 2, what I am going to have? I am going to have 1 upon fr upon 1 upon f violet, so it will be 1 upon f violet upon fr is equal to mu r minus 1 upon mu violet minus 1. Now just see, mu r is less than mu violet. Mu r is less than mu violet. So mu r minus 1 will upon mu v minus 1. Mu r minus 1 will be less than mu v minus 1. So basically numerator is smaller than the denominator, and that's why this fraction is less than 1. And if this fraction is less than 1, what we can see that? We can see that f violet upon f red is less than 1. So basically from here we can see that f violet is less than f of red color. So for violet color focal length is smaller, and for red color focal length is greater. Violet color focal length is smaller, red color focal length is greater. How we can understand this thing? I am removing this side. Please note down if you have not noted down. What does it mean actually? Let us see, let us try to understand what does it mean. If this is your lens, okay, and this is your principal axis. Now suppose what happens, a color of violet, actually it is blue, but you can consider it as violet, okay, and the color of red, they fall on the lens. As far as the mathematical calculations we can see, violet color focal length is less than the red color focal length. It simply means that the violet color will converge at principal axis somewhere near by the lens, whereas red color will converge a bit far away. This is focal length of red color. Okay, so violet color converges somewhere else, red color converges somewhere else. Okay, because they have different focal length. Violet color has less focal length, red color has greater focal length. So violet color will be, the focal length of violet color will be like this. Red color of focal length is from here to here, and violet color focal length is from here to here. So as you can see in the diagram also, violet color has less focal length and red color has greater. Okay, so basically if I compare this and this, means I want to compare wavelength directly with the focal length. So just see, lambda of red color is greater than lambda of violet color. So what we got at the end, focal length for red color is greater than focal length of violet color. It simply means that the greater focal length, the greater wavelength will have greater focal length. A greater wavelength has a greater focal length. A less wavelength has less focal length. Is it clear? So this is from the mathematical calculation. Logically you can also think. Just see, if we make the prism and if we try to understand the dispersion of white light, I hope you must be knowing that color spectrum, Vibgyor. The extreme colors are violet and red. So just see, the violet color is the one which is most deviated and red color is least deviated. Violet color has less wavelength, red color has greater wavelength. So what is the deviation in the violet color is most? The same happens here also, because here it is refraction only and here it is also refraction. So violet color will be deviated more. Violet color will be deviated more and red color will be deviated less. What is the angle of deviation here? Just see, for violet color this much is deviation and for red color this much is deviation. Okay, so basically violet color will be deviated more, and that's why it has less focal length than the for red color. So it will apply for all. Okay, so if I write Vibgyor violet indigo, this is the increasing order of wavelength. So focal length will be also increasing in this one only. Focal length of violet color will be greater than focal length of blue color. Focal length of green color will be greater than focal length of red color. Focal length of yellow color will be less than the focal length of red color. Okay, so for any of the two colors we can understand from here. Okay, so this is how this lens maker's formula is applied to know the focal length of various lenses, and this is how we understand the dependence of focal length on wavelength of the light used. Okay, but sometimes what happens, we have a particular case, a different kind of lenses. Okay, in numericals especially, they have, in the numericals lenses can be given as convexo-concave or concavo-convex. Okay, so for those, how to solve? Let us try to understand. If you remember, I have told you that this lens is called concavo-convex and it is also called positive meniscus. Why is it so? Because its basic nature is converging. Let us try to find out. Let this radius of curvature is, the first radius of curvature R1 is 10 centimeter. Let R2 be 15 centimeter. Refractive index of the material of the lens is 1.5 and the other medium is here. What we need to find out? We need to find out the focal length. So let us apply lens maker's formula over here. For this surface, R1 is lying this side, so R1 is going to be negative. R2 is also this side, so it is going to be negative. Okay, R1 and R2 both are going to be negative. So if we apply lens maker's formula, it will be like 1 upon F is equal to mu 2 1 minus 1, 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon R2. So 1 upon F is equal to mu 2 1, it is 1.5 minus 1, 1 upon R1, 1 upon minus 10, minus 1 upon minus 15. So it will be 1 upon 15, right? So if we solve it, what we are going to have? 1 upon F is equal to 1.5 minus 1, it will be 0.5, multiply by LCM will be 15 and 10, it will be 30. So minus 3 plus 2. So 1 upon F is equal to what? 0.5 multiply by minus 1 upon 30. Okay. So if it is multiplied with minus, what we are going to have? F is equal to 30 upon 0.5 with negative sign. So F is going to be minus 60 centimeter. So this will be our answer. F is negative, it simply means the focal length is is negative. It simply means it will act as a diverging lens. Rays will be diverged. Actually these two readings are taken inverted, and that's why the answer we get something which is not expected. So this is how we apply lens maker formula. In the next video lecture we'll discuss some more numericals on the basis of lens maker's formula. Let us say this is all for the day. Keep yourself safe, do take care of yourself. Okay, thank you all of you.